And so, like when you mentioned just waking up, rushing, and you get kind of frantic. And so you get in the mind state to where you're not in the right headspace to even be thinking about achieving your goals. And that's when you really push the stuff off to the side, and it doesn't allow you to be consistent. So when it comes to this new year, I think it's important for everyone to make sure you're in the right headspace when it comes to completing your goals. I know every day isn't going to be, you know, rainbows and sunshine, but it's important that you do your best every day to achieving your goals. And What's good, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Radiant Thoughts. First and foremost, Happy New Year to all the
Happy
listeners.
New Year.
It's your boy KP back in the building with y'all, man.
It's your girl Tori J.
Yes, sir.
And today we're going to be talking about being consistent in the new year.
Indeed.
So first thing I want to say is that I was looking online for like statistics and stuff, and I found out that only 9% of people actually stick to their New Year's resolution.
9%. That's not a lot of people.
Not a lot of people.
Not a lot of people.
Yeah. So only 9%. That's not very many. And most people only last about like 3 to 4 months.
3 to 4 months. I'm surprised they make it 3 to 4 months.
Me too.
I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. But yeah, most people only last 3 to 4 months in their New Year resolutions. So it's not very good. We need to work on that.
We need to get more consistent. I think that's why I want to talk about New Year's consistency. You know, New Year consistency. But you know, since we're rolling into this new year and stuff, what is a goal that you have for the new year for yourself that you plan to maintain? We ain't gonna be in that 9%, y'all.
No, we're not. I have two, I guess. One is to utilize my budgeting app and budgeting book more. I was a part of that 9% last year. I bought a whole budgeting book and I used it for 3 months and never used it again. And then another one is just to focus. I talked about it in the last episode too, just being intentional with the stuff that I'm doing and putting my energy into. And yeah, what's yours?
One of mine is for this YouTube channel, Radiant Thoughts, you know what I'm saying, to reach 1,000 subscribers. That's one of the main ones on my list. I want to be able to grow and have a community of people. You know, I feel like I can reach that. That's very doable.
So if you haven't, stop the video
and subscribe. Hit the bell button, comment, go watch all the other episodes, because we got some good episodes for y'all. You can just binge them, you know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't doing nothing anyways. Just binge them like y'all binge the other shows and catch up. Hit the subscribe button, like all the episodes, and click the bell. Click the bell for sure. But what are some ways that people can stay out of that 9%? What can we do?
Something that I want to start focusing on more, since I know we read Atomic Habits last year. We kind of implemented some of the stuff, but just again being more intentional with the stuff that we're doing.
Right.
I think to set attainable and measurable goals is something that I've struggled with in the past too. I was the new year last year, I said I was gonna start working out more, and I did it for
you did a
7
good job.
months. I don't know, I did pretty consistent for the most part.
You were pretty consistent.
Until the end of summer. And so I think when I started the new year, I just started off with a goal that seemed good in my head, but in real life it didn't work. I was I'm gonna go 5 days a week. That's kind of unrealistic for me, for real, depending on what's going on. And I didn't say what specific days. So when I wrote my goals and stuff this year, I got to look at my schedule for school and work and all that, and to say I'm going to go to the gym on Tuesday and Saturday at 7 a.m. or something like that. Instead of saying I'm just going to go 5 days a week. Well, what 5 days are you going to go? What time are you going to go?
You got to plan it out.
Yeah.
And have it have sort of a system for it. I think that's one of my points that I want to give. Plan out a system for success. You know, we want to succeed with our goals that we create in order to be consistent we have to have something paved out for us. Like, okay, like you said, I'm going to go at this time on this day.
Mm-hmm. You have to put it in your schedule. You have to
put it in your schedule, block off that time, and make sure that you're, consistent with those particular times. Mm-hmm. And so that's one way that I intend on being consistent this New Year's.
I think that's important too, like put it into your schedule, but also like no matter how much you schedule something, if you don't want to do it, you're not going to do it. So I think like finding your why of like, why am I trying to reach this goal, or like why am I doing this, that will help too. Because if you have no like purpose of doing it, you're not going to do it. Like you're not going to be as consistent and as willing to put the work in.
A why is important in I think everything that we do, because if you don't have a why, there's no reason for you to do it almost.
No.
You have to almost have something behind you that's driving you to reach those levels or reach whatever goal that you want to attain. It has to be, you have to have a purpose. There's a purpose for everything. So that is key indeed. My next one is to, a lot of time, even with New Year's, I know this video is coming out after New Year's, but it is important that when we think of goals, when we know something that we truly want to do, we start immediately. A lot of times we wait, like, okay, I'm going to start Monday, I'm going to start the first of the month. And I think it is important that we just take the time out. Once we think of it, we know we want to do it, I'm going to start this today.
I feel like half the time when people, like, even myself, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna wait until Monday to start it, and then Monday come, I forget. I'm like, all right, we're gonna do it Tuesday, or sometimes even next Monday.
Week.
Or even just saying like, I'm gonna do it on the first of the month. First of the month is like the busiest time for anybody. You got bills, you got a whole bunch of stuff. Like that's not gonna be your top priority. Right. So you're like, more than likely you're not going to do it then.
Yeah, and it's important, like, going into the new year when you establish these goals, because we all think about them before, majority of us think about them before New Year's even rolls around. Yeah. And so
I think start it then.
Yeah, you start it then, and you pick up that momentum and you just roll right into the new year. You're already doing it. So it just becomes second nature.
That's what I was gonna say. Like if you started a little earlier, which I wish some of my goals that I've like decided on, I wish I would have started sooner. So then, like, you know how they say, what is it, like you take you 21 days to build a habit?
Build a habit, yeah.
Like if you do it before then, by the time the new year come, like you said, like it'll already be in your routine. You're already like, it'll just make it so much easier starting off the new year on that note.
Yeah, because once you start, you're trying to pick up immediately. Okay, I'm just gonna start doing this, and I think
you have to build up to it.
Yeah, because there's a lot of pressure in the beginning to just, okay, I do want to do this 12 months straight. And it's like 12 months is a long time when you like, it's not a long time, but when you think of
depending on what your
the goals
is,
it's a long time. And so you get overwhelmed and then you don't do it.
Right.
And so, yeah, I think it's important that you just start like as soon as possible. As soon as you think of it, just put it into action.
Right. I know another one is like, if y'all haven't read Atomic Habits, I definitely recommend reading it.
This is like our 5th time shouting that
since like the start of the year. But
you
just
need to
like,
give us a check.
I know, James Clear.
Write the check, homie. Cut it. Cut the check, bro.
In his book, he talks about like making like your goal or your habit like obvious. So like if you want to go to the gym, you need to lay out your clothes at night. You need to pack your gym bag at night. If you want to like journal in the morning, you need to set your notebook like on the table, so when you make your breakfast, you sit down and the journal's right there. You have no choice but to do it. Like, I don't know, just little stuff like that is definitely helpful, because even though like nobody's watching, it'll be like that guilt, because if I lay my clothes out to go to the gym and I wake up in the morning and I have to fold my clothes back up to put them in the drawer and not go to the gym, like that's like everybody do this. We wash clothes. Oh, I just let them sit there.
Put them on the bed.
For sure. Oh, I don't do that.
No, when you put them on the bed though, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna make myself fold them. What we do? Push them clothes to the side.
I don't do that.
You do.
I have not.
I ain't gonna lie, I do.
I am not doing that.
You hate folding clothes.
I might go sleep in another room.
But that's even worse.
But I'm not gonna push them over. I'm not gonna push them over.
Back in the hamper.
Yeah, I'll do that. But push them over, that's just lazy.
That's how a lot of people are, though.
That is just lazy. Y'all need to stop doing that.
Yeah, y'all do. But that's a fact. That's a fact. People do push stuff to the side, just like, and you have that guilt, and like, dang, I really just did that. And when you feel like that, when nobody's watching, that's how you know you're supposed to be doing it.
Yeah.
So, I always try to do stuff because I have that feeling in myself, like, I should have did that.
I know I should have did it, but like sometimes I'm like, well, I'm already in the bed, or like I'm already,
I hate having that self guilt.
I feel like too, like just depending on what it is, because I've done it, like folding clothes. I'll wash clothes, they sit in a hamper or something, and then I'll like put the hamper in the room so I know to fold it when I get home. But I'll forget and go like lay in the bed. I'm like, oh, that's a tomorrow's activity. But then you wake up the next morning and you're like, dang, I gotta fold these clothes. Like you already started off on a bad attitude. So even like I've seen on like TikTok and stuff, watching videos, like if I were to take my hamper in the room, I'm gonna shut the door and leave like a sticky note or something. So like I have to see it opening the door. Yeah,
and people think that's doing a lot sometimes, but
sometimes
I feel like
you have to trick your mind.
You have to trick your mind. I think it's important to trick your mind into like making yourself do something. And so it's weird, because even when like reading the book, I was looking at all the stuff he was talking about. I'm like, this is so simple, like it's common sense, but like it's almost as if like our minds are like children in a way, like, you know what I'm saying, like when you have to like, I don't know how to explain it, like make a routine for a child for them to get into the habit. Like you think like, oh, I'm an adult, like I know what I'm doing, but you really have to like put those cues in front of you, or you're not gonna do them. It's like we get comfortable, and we gotta force ourselves to step outside.
Like at the grocery store half the time, like we don't go down the snack aisle and stuff like that no more. Like we go to granola bars, nuts, fruit, like I don't know. Yeah. We didn't used to do that. We used to like, oh, let's go get some cookies and like all that stuff. So it's just, whatever you're like, again, putting your focus into, I guess.
Yeah, but comfort, getting out of your comfort, that was my next point that I wanted to make. You got to force yourself to get out your comfort zones, because most of the things that we put on our list are things that's going to challenge us. And so in order to fulfill your challenge,
people don't like a challenge.
People don't like a challenge, and you gotta find out how to trick your mind to get yourself out of, like, you gotta do certain things to, like, all right, I just gotta do it. And sometimes you might be scared, you might, but if it's something that you truly want, that's why you say, like, find your why. If you truly have a why and know that this is something that you want to do, and there's an obstacle in front of you, you got to figure out a way to, knock that obstacle down. Yeah.
I think too, like, focusing, like a lot of people, I think, focus on the end goal. So like, I'm trying to think of a goal that's like that, but like focusing on that, but you have to like work backwards. So like, if this is what I want, okay, I need to do this to get to that point. But before that, I need to do this. Like, you kind of have to work backwards and think of the steps instead of just the goal. And I think that's what a lot of people do. Like they find the goal, but they don't have the steps to get there.
Yeah, it's like you focus on the steps in front of you, not the light
staircase.
I was gonna say the light at I'm thinking of two different things. The light at the end of the tunnel.
Don't focus on the steps in front of you,
not the whole staircase. Yeah, and that's key, and that ties into creating those systems, in my opinion. So like, having those steps, knowing what, like you said, working backwards, okay, this is the end goal. What do I need to do to get there?
Right. Because if you just think about that, I don't think that's helpful.
It stresses you out.
That's going to make me think like, oh, I'm so far from that goal, but you just have to do those little,
Yeah, understand. And I like what we did this year too, break our goals down quarterly. Like, that's something I seen, and she's seen as well, but
it's a book on it too, y'all. Yeah, I'm gonna read it and I'm gonna let y'all know how to do it.
Break your goals down in quarters. So what is it? Look at each quarter as its own year, and so that way it essentially you get 4 years in one, calendar year. And so every 3 months, every quarter, so you get 4 quarters, and set certain targets for those specific quarters,
versus having a list of 50 everything things that's overwhelming.
It's overwhelming. It's too much. You want to know where to start And if you give something quarterly, it's like, okay, from January to March, this is what I know I want to attain, and I know how to attack it.
It's easier and more attainable.
Way more attainable. So I would say break stuff down, give yourself some steps, create systems in order to attain whatever goal that you want. So, and then I want to bring up what consistency is. I don't think a lot of people really understand what consistency is or how to be consistent. Consistency is pretty simple. It's just whatever goal or whatever thing that you want to do. Like with this podcast, I wanted to create one episode every week. So every Sunday at 12 o'clock noon, we release an episode. And as long as I do that every single week, I'm being consistent. So if you want to go to the gym at 5 o'clock on Fridays every day, and you do that, that's you're successful.
Right.
You know, that's what consistency is. So that's why setting those plans and systems are so important, because that's what keeps you consistent. That's how you stay on track and be consistent.
And start small if you need to and work your way up too. That's also being consistent. As long as you're doing something and still being consistent.
Absolutely.
So what steps are you going to focus on personally? Like either that's something we talked about in this video or just something that you thought of on your own of like, how are you going to reach your goals this year?
Yeah, I think my main thing for me to reach those 1,000 subscribers is consistency. I think that's, for my goal in totality, that's one of the main things I have to do. So being consistent, posting every day, constantly getting, good, information for my viewers. I think that's going to be the overall main thing when it comes to reaching the 1,000 subscriber goal. So that's what I'm going to focus on the most. What you looking at focusing on the most?
I think the two that I talked about, but more so the main one would be making like those goals or like those things, those steps that you want to take, making them more obvious. I think that's something that I've not struggled with, but like it's very easy for me to get distracted sometimes. So if I have something like already set, like even I know sometimes in the morning when I go to school, like I wake up, I'll be rushing because I don't put my clothes out the night before, and I'm trying to like pack my bag, do my homework and all that. So just like making sure I'm prepared for the next day, making sure that I'm like putting everything out that I need the night before instead of rushing and trying to do it in the morning. And then like again with the gym, like putting my clothes out so I know like, okay, when I wake up I need to go to the gym. Or like even with the budget book that I said I wanted to use, like I said I wanted to use it the end of the month, like the very last day. So I'm gonna make sure I set it out and do all that stuff.
Budget everything and have everything set in stone. And so like when you mentioned just waking up, rushing, and you get kind of frantic. And so you get in a mind state to where you're not in the right headspace to even be thinking about achieving your goals. And that's when you really push the stuff off to the side, and it doesn't allow you to be consistent. So when it comes to this new year, I think it's important for everyone to make sure you're in the right headspace when it comes to completing your goals. I know every day isn't going to be, rainbows and sunshine, but it's important that you do your best every day to achieving your goals. And that's one of the agreements in the 4 agreements, always do your best. And I think that's a key to being consistent. If every day you go out there and give it your all, you do your best, your honest best, no matter what's going on, what you're dealing with, do your complete best, then you will achieve a lot of the goals. You will fall out of that 9%. We're gonna be in the, what's that, 91% this year? Yeah. I had to get my maps together, boy. I had to get my maps together. So we're gonna be in that percentile this year. So
I think it's good also for people to maybe like download the motivation app or something, just to have like that little bit of motivation throughout the day. I have it on my phone, and I also set a reminder every morning for like when I wake up around like 6 on the days I wake up at 6. And it's a good day to have a good day. Just like a little reminder like that you can just kind of set throughout the day just to give you that little like boost of confidence.
And even with that, if people that don't do that, it's just important to see your goals, see your affirmations, everything. So what I've seen people do, which I haven't done it yet, but I do want to implement, is write sticky notes out. We got to go in the bathroom every morning. So, and everybody has a bathroom mirror. So writing on sticky notes, putting them on the mirror in the bathroom. So every time you wake up, you have no choice but to see it. But I would say
people
with
write
that,
on mirrors too.
yeah,
like
you can write
markers.
on, yeah. And with that though, you could get overwhelmed constantly going there seeing the stuff that you haven't done. But I think that's where mindset comes into play, and it should light a spark under you as opposed to make you overwhelmed. But that's why I mentioned the quarterly goal setting, and whatever things that you have to do for that quarter, put them there so you can see them and check them off once they're done. And once you check them off, just remove it so you can focus on everything else that's there. So I think that's important, just being able to see the things physically, because we write goals down, you put it in a journal and you forget about it.
Yeah, well, I was going to touch on that too. So it's kind of opposite to what you just said though. Okay. Like on TikTok, it's a sound. It's from Steve Harvey, because I keep hearing it. I keep seeing people do it. And I don't know if it's from whatever show he did, but it said like, take a piece of paper and write down everything that you want to accomplish. I want to say it was like within a year. And he was like, the goal is to like keep writing until you have 300 things. And then at the end of the year, go back and you'll see how much you've actually accomplished. Okay. Like, I don't think it's like nothing crazy, but just like, you know, like passing my test this week or just something like that. And then like after you go, it's like, oh, I did do that. Like, I think seeing those small wins.
Yeah, seeing those small wins, those is like having checkpoints. Like, okay, I got this done. And you realize you're rolling. Yeah, and you can just start having that momentum.
I want to do that, but 300 seems like a lot.
Yeah, 300. That's a lot.
It seems like a lot of stuff, but
yeah, easily.
Maybe we'll do it. Or even maybe we can do like a halfway point. Just do like from January to June.
And that I was actually going to mention that, because this year I'm going to use June. That's the end. June 1st, I believe, is the end of quarter 2. So use that as a checkpoint to see how far I've come, what all I've done. I encourage you guys to use June, or as a checkpoint. That's the halfway point of the year. Reflect, see everything that we were able to get done, things we didn't get done, so we can know how to adjust for the next year. And that's another thing I also want to talk about, adjusting when you realize like, okay, the goals I set are not aligning with what's currently going on for you. It's okay to go readjust.
Another thing we did last year as well, again, we was in the 9% on that too, but
we're working our way out.
Yeah, we're working on it. It's a work in progress. We took like mason jars and then took little sticky notes. We did it for every day, and I feel like that's probably why we weren't as consistent with it. But maybe just implementing like every week, like write one good thing, or like write one good thing and bad thing that happened, and then at the end of the year, like you're able to go back and kind of see and reflect on the year that you've had.
Absolutely.
And then I think looking back on it too, because even when I just went through my jar, I'm like, this wasn't nothing. Like at the time I thought it was like, you know what I mean?
Catastrophic.
Yeah, like, so just being able to look at it and just seeing like, okay, that really wasn't that bad. I made it through, kind of thing.
Shows you the growth that you might have as a individual. Because when I went through mine, I realized like a lot of this stuff that I did put on here, I've grown past. Like those same things that made me mad then probably wouldn't make me mad today. And that shows your growth. So you get to see your progress once you go through them. So I think that was good. And I think we should
do it again,
implement that again. And this year we falling out of that 9%. I'm telling y'all.
Don't be in that 9%. Join the wave.
Don't be in that 9%. But comment what steps you're gonna use in the comments,
or goals that you may have,
and the steps that you're gonna take to attain these goals. Let us know. Drop it below. We're building a community here. So let us know what y'all think in the comments for sure. But that is all that we have for you guys on today's episode. I hope that y'all have a blessed and wonderful 2024. Wishing all peace and prosperity to everyone out there, the whole Radiant Thought fam, and everybody outside the Radiant Thought fam. So turn up this year. We gonna do it big this year. We falling out of that 9% for sure. We falling out. So again, Happy New Year. Share this out to all of y'all peoples. Let's have a great year, y'all. And Radiant Thoughts, we out, baby.